You know, kudos to former President Donald Trump today for showing up at the National Association of Black Journalists in Chicago for the discussion. And kudos to the journalists who had a strong pushback from their members not to invite him. You know, you should have said, thank you, Mr. President, for showing up. It's good to have you, instead of going directly into the hostile questions by Rachel from ABC News. Listen, the president answered every question. He did not agree with J.D. Vance when he talked about women not having children. He believed that in the case of rape, incest, and when the mother's life is in danger, abortion should be the exception. He talked about how he supported historical black colleges and universities, opportunity zones with Senator Tim Scott. He answered all the questions. He acquitted himself well. You may not like Trump and say whatever you want to say, but Trump is authentic. He's not a hypocrite. He said what he had to say, and he did not back down. I don't need to listen to CNN and ABC and all these networks and their after reporting after the event to tell us what we did and did not hear. I heard it for myself. The president was very respectful. He did not interrupt. And he did a good job today. I don't care what these haters may try to tell you or don't tell you. Look, it was a very good discussion. I was very impressed, and I'm just happy that the former president showed up. It showed his courage, and he showed his commitment to all Americans. I'm Armstrong Williams.
Donald Trump showing up to Chicago definitely backfire, or is backfiring on the media, because, you know, they trying to paint him as this guy who was just being so rude and so crude and vicious and vile while he was being interviewed by that black woman who works for ABC. And man, it definitely was not the case. I think that even if you're not a Trump supporter, you have to respect the fact that he pulled up. He pulled up. Literally to the lion's den. This man said, you know what, I'm walking straight into the fire. He went into a room, that was an event that was for black people. And he went to straight to us to ask us to get asked the questions. But of course he was bombarded with, you know, some crazy crap, you know. But I tell you what, Kamala Harris couldn't do it. She didn't even show up. And if she would have showed up, she would have been treated extremely friendly in comparison to Donald Trump. And that's my problem with my people. Like, come on, y'all. You can't sit here and not realize the inadequacies that you took part in when you was trying to sit there and ask this man questions. No, how you doing? No apologies for the 30 minutes late. Like, none of that, nada. You know, none of that matters. You feel me? And for whatever reason, they want Donald Trump to apologize. Apologize for what? What did he didn't do nothing. Don't say nothing wrong. Y'all look. They want him to apologize for not admitting that Kamala Harris is black. But we're going to dive into why even CNN proved that she isn't black. No, the others, we got a lot of stuff to dive into. But for context purposes, let's go ahead and replay the clip that happened with Donald Trump and the ABC journalist where she got caught.
It's not true. You have told 4 congresswomen of color who were American citizens to go back to where they came from. You have used words like animal and rabbit to describe black district attorneys. You've attacked black journalists, calling them a loser, saying the questions that they ask are, quote, stupid and racist. You've had dinner with a white supremacist at your Mar-a-Lago resort. So my question, sir, now that you are asking black supporters to vote for you, why should black voters trust you after you have used language like that?
Well, first of all, I don't think I've ever been asked a question so in such a horrible manner. First question. You don't even say, hello, how are you? Are you with ABC? Because I think they're a fake news network, a terrible network. And I think it's disgraceful that I came here in good spirit. I love the black population of this country. I've done so much for the black population of this country, including employment, including opportunity zones with Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina, which is one of the greatest programs ever for black workers and black entrepreneurs. I've done so much, and, you know, and I say this, historically black colleges and universities were out of money. They were stone cold broke, and I saved them, and I gave them long-term financing, and nobody else was doing it. I think it's a very rude introduction. I don't know exactly why you would do something like that. And let me go a step further. I was invited here, and I was told my opponent, whether it was Biden or Kamala, I was told my opponent was going to be here. It turned out my opponent isn't here. You invited me under false pretense. And then you said you can't do it with Zoom. Well, where's Zoom? She's going to do it with Zoom, and she's not coming. And then you were half an hour late, just so we understand. I have too much respect for you to be late. They couldn't get their equipment working or something was wrong.
Mr. President, I would love if you can answer the question on your rhetoric and why you believe
I have
that
answered
black
the
voters
question.
should trust you with another 4
I have
years.
been the best president for the black population since Abraham Lincoln. That's my answer.
Better than President Johnson, who signed the Voting Rights Act?
And for you to start off a question and answer period, especially when you're 35 minutes late because you couldn't get your equipment to work, in such a hostile manner, I think it's a disgrace.
Now, before we continue, I just want to show y'all, point out something. He definitely answered the question. He definitely did. You know what I mean? But she didn't want to hear that. And I don't see how she doesn't realize the way that she phrased that to be just vile and vicious. You know what I mean? Now we're going to get to the part where they want, the left-wing media is begging practically Donald Trump to apologize for, which is calling Kamala Harris not black, calling her Indian. But because he's a white man, it's racist. Oh, my God. And again, right after we show you the rest of this interaction, at least for the context, I'm going to show you how even CNN don't believe that she's black.
Let me just ask a follow-up, sir, and then we'll move on to other questions here. Some of your own supporters, including Republicans on Capitol Hill, have labeled Vice President Kamala Harris, who is the first black and Asian American woman to serve as vice president and be on a major party ticket, as a DEI hire. Is that acceptable language to you? And will you tell those Republicans and those supporters to stop it?
How do you define DEI? Go ahead. How do you define
diversity, equity, inclusion?
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Is that what your definition?
That is
give me a
literally
definition
the words
then. Would you give me a definition
DEI.
of that? Give me a definition.
Sir,
of that.
I'm asking you a question,
No,
a
you
very
have to
direct
define
question.
it. Define it for me, if you would.
I just defined it, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is only on the ticket because she is a black woman?
Well, I can say no. I think it's maybe a little bit different. So, I've known her a long time indirectly, not directly, very much, and she was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she black?
She is always identified as a black woman. She went to a historically black college.
I respect either one, but she obviously doesn't, because she was Indian all the way, and then all of a sudden she made a turn, and she became a black person.
Just to be clear, sir, do you believe that she is
somebody should look into that too when you ask, continue in a very hostile, nasty tone.
Man, my dog Trump, man, this guy's a comedian. She's black. He wasn't even trying to be funny, man. Honestly, though, she's always been of Indian heritage. You know, they even got her birth certificate. I don't know if it's appropriate for me to show it, so I'm not going to show it on here. But they even got a birth certificate put out there. It says that Indian Jamaican equals African American. Jamaican is not a nationality, is a nationality, not a race. I'm sorry. Harris has no listing as black or white. Her mother is listed as white. And on here, let me see. Let me look at it myself. Yup, it says mother Caucasian. Yup, 26 at the time. The father was 20. Yeah, so yep. So that's what we seeing. Now, if you want to see this, just go to X, type in Kamala Harris birth certificate. You can see it, but I don't know if it's appropriate for me to show it up on here. But yeah. Let's read some of the comments from this clip. Handled really well. Oh my God, really well isn't even, that's an understatement. He cooked her, bro. She sauteed and deep fried. Oh my God. Oh man. But somebody else said he missed the layup. And they said this is the correct answer. Quote, yes, Biden made it clear he would name a VP who was a woman of color. You'll have to ask Joe Biden and the Democrats why the color of someone's skin is more important than the content of their character. Ooh. I ain't gonna lie, if Donald Trump said that, it would have been a grand slam. I'm not gonna lie, he would have won everybody over with that one. I'm gonna lie, that's a lie. You know, people strongly dislike that man. The TDS is too strong. They said, my man, they can't take it that he always says it like he means it. He doesn't sugarcoat it. He gives it straight up, no chaser. This is why Donald Trump will be the president of the United States. Amen to that. Now, remember, I told y'all, CNN even had to admit, well, they did a whole segment talking about how she was Indian and how she's proud to be Indian and all this other stuff. They even had an Indian narrated. Check it out.
My mother, who raised me and my sister, was a proud woman. She was a brown woman. She was a woman with a heavy accent.
And her mother, Shamla Gopalan, was also the biggest influence in Kamala Harris's life.
The answer is absolutely yes, Joe.
After the big announcement, Harris's sister wrote in a Twitter post, "You can't know who Kamala Harris is without knowing who our mother was." In 1958, a precocious 19-year-old Indian, Gopalan traveled thousands of miles from her home and family to pursue a doctorate in nutrition and endocrinology in America. She soon became an active civil rights crusader while studying at UC Berkeley.
But once she went there, she almost felt free. And she took part in politics. She used to bring a whole series of literature, leftist literature from Karl Popper's, he was a great philosopher.
In her book, Harris says, "There is no title or honor on earth I'll treasure more than to say I am Shamla Gopalan Harris's daughter." Harris's visits to India with her mother kept her connected to her roots. Her grandfather, who had strong views on humanitarian issues, worked closely with officials to reallocate refugees. Their conversations had a strong influence on her.
Those walks along the beach in India really planted something in my mind and created a commitment in me before I even realized it. That has led me to where I am today.
Harris's maternal uncle, Gopalan Balachandran, who lives in Delhi, tells us how the senator turns to her amma, which means mother in Tamil, for guidance even after her death.
I don't have to tell her, make your mother proud. She said, what are you telling me? Everything that I do, I ask myself, would Amma approve of this?
Kamala in Hindi means lotus flower and is an important symbol in Indian culture, rooted deep in the bottom of the river. Very similar to Harris's Indian identity, which she wears on her sleeve. There's no doubt that the primary source of learning for Senator Harris was from her mother's experiences and the conversations that she had with her maternal grandfather when she visited India, which was very often accompanying her mother, or when the grandparents would visit them in America. Back to you, Rosemary.
All right, y'all, I'm gonna have to go because my dog is going crazy at this door right now. But the conclusion is, Donald Trump that is, just told the world that Kamala Harris ain't black. And everybody's in an uproar about it, which is usually the left. You know what? I'm going to pause this real quick because, yeah.
Okay, so what we're going to cook today is an Indian recipe.
Yes.
Because you are Indian.
Yes.
Okay, and I don't know that everybody knows that, but I find that wherever I go and I see Indian people at the supermarket, on the street, everyone's like, you know Kamala Harris is Indian, right? It's like the thing we're so excited about to have you running for president.
Yeah.
So we're both Indian, but actually we're both South Indian.
Yes. You look like the entire one half of my family.
Okay, thank you.
You do.
I've been telling people we're related already, so this is perfect. It's basically true. And so were you raised eating South Indian food?
South Indian food.
Okay.
And not only that, thank you, Kamala Harris, for the nice picture you sent from many years ago. Your warmth, friendship, and love of your Indian heritage are very much appreciated. Now, this was Donald Trump on True Social on yesterday. Well, yeah, y'all see the time right here. All right, you see the time. You need to go ahead and come back to X, man. I ain't seen them post on there in a while. What is this? Breaking: Elon Musk calls Kamala a puppet of the deep state. That was a while ago. Trump accusation, even though Kamala's literally on tape saying it. Oh wait, hold on. This is something totally. I'm just kind of scrolling through to make sure we ain't missing nothing, y'all. That's it. We watched that video yesterday. Obviously we seen this video. We just watched it. So yeah, it's just Kamala, you got cooked. Okay, Donald Trump calls out Kamala Harris for allegedly race baiting. Yeah, that's exactly what she does. You got to be careful and weary of these people who are only shape-shifting when it's convenient to try to garner your vote or to try to somehow get you stoop to what they consider to be your level. You know what I mean? Like, it's not okay for somebody to sit there and, oh, you know what? I'm black today. Oh, yeah, I'm talking to black people. Oh, you know what? I'm Indian today. It's like, no, you can't do that. That's not okay. And, you know, unless you're an actress. Wait. Is she an actress? Is she a government paid actress?